Hey there, it's Joel from The Last of Us. You're listening to a PSVG podcast, so remember, stay quiet, don't give up, never stop gaming.
I say it's time we focused on what really matters. The games.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Play Some Video Games. This is the Sony recap reaction podcast episode. We've been through a lot in the last 2 hours, so this is going to get crazy without a doubt. So we're over on Twitch because let's start with this. All right, before we get to it.
Yeah.
I have with me Donnie, of course. Donnie's been with me all day, so thank you, Donnie, for being here.
Greetings,
sticking with this.
Greetings, Scooplings. I was not supposed to be on the show.
No, you weren't. You were just supposed to get us going, yeah. And then still hanging out with us from the live stream, Justin, once I came up. So, Justin, man, how we doing?
Yep, good.
Yep, how we doing? Yep. That's where this is going tonight. All right. So, long story short, as you know, if you're following PSVG at all, we've been pumping out content left or right. We're covering each presentation live, having reactions, streaming them on YouTube, then recording podcasts where I'm pushing those out the whole nine. Ubisoft did something, and they went after literally everybody that wasn't a major gaming publication, I guess you could say, on YouTube. And if they streamed their conference for them,
if a streaming outlet or blog streamed Ubisoft's conference today, they somehow apparently had a switch that turned them all off.
Yep, they were banned from YouTube for 90 days.
For 90 days, they've turned us off. And
so we had to figure out an alternative to record this after the Sony press conference, and we had to figure out live how to cover the Sony press conference. So we jumped into that about 10 minutes late into it, Donnie, before we realized it was up. So
we missed all of the TLU stuff live.
Yeah.
Just what a mess. What a mess.
So Ubisoft, man, we thought you were cool. You've been doing great games. I don't know what you did. But yeah, people have called them out on Twitter. They said as of 9:15, recording this at 11 o'clock at night, that they're working on fixing it ASAP. It's well over that ASAP time frame, I think, and we still don't have resolutions. So hopefully everything is good soon, so we can get back to our normal.
They realize they messed it up. I'm sure they'll fix it, but
yeah, hopefully. So let's talk Sony. We're recording this immediately after the Sony press conference. Took like a 20-minute break. Tried to figure things out here and how we're going to broadcast this. So we're live on Twitch, as we mentioned. So Sony came out, had a little bit of a different format for their flow, if you will. But before we get into that, I just want to cover the quick news hits that weren't really announcements, but they're more like tidbits that were interwoven that I don't think we really have anything to talk about. So we'll just cover these real quick. People who pre-order Black Ops 4 will get some free maps from Black Ops 3 that are like remastered up for Black Ops 4. And if you have a PlayStation Plus subscription, you get Black Ops 3 as a free download today. So scoop that up if you have PlayStation Plus. We saw a short Destiny 2 Forsaken trailer indicating Cade 6, which Donnie was very happy he was able to identify the character. He gets shot or killed, or in air quotes killed, because we don't know what happens. And you spend the campaign bringing him back from the dead. So very cool. Cade's a fan favorite, so that'd be cool to see. And the last mini announcement that was kind of crammed in there was we saw a really weird platformer called Trover Saves the Universe from Rick and Morty's Jocelyn Rowland for PS4 and PSVR. So those are the little tidbits that were interwoven throughout the conference. But let's get on to what the actual show is about. So the show opened up in what appeared to be like some sort of chapel or church or community center type thing. And they kind of did a little introduction, and out came, I forget his name, so Donnie, Justin, help me here. Who came out and played the music?
Gustavo
something. But he's the guy who came
up
with the music for The Last of Us, and he came out and did a chilling performance. Actually, it was very nice. It was very mellow, stripped down, which was just amazing to watch him work and do it. And the crowd was into it. It was dead silent. Yeah, it was dead silent the entire time. It was very cool. And then immediately went into a Last of Us 2 trailer. Again, we finally see Ellie. She's at, ironically enough, the same type of community center. So Sony actually replicated that for the conference. It's a sort of dance, and she's talking with a couple characters that we're not familiar with. And she kind of has a moment with a girl from across the room, if you will. And then it immediately jumps into some gameplay footage where she's running through the woods, running from this group of people. So we didn't see any clickers, we didn't see any mutants or anything like that in this, but we saw the humans, which seems like from everything we've seen so far is the real threat in The Last of Us 2. Saw faster combat. She definitely moved a lot quicker than Joel does. And I'm not sure if that's going to be a dynamic just when you play as Ellie or you play as Joel, but it seemed to be much quicker. Still rely on crafting things on the fly, so that was still there. She made like an explosive arrow that she tore into them. Stealth, obviously, is still a big thing. You still don't want to make a lot of noise. You can still distract people by making noises. And it's dark and gritty, as it's always been. But the big surprise, at least for me, was we didn't see Joel. They made a reference about your old man said something, but we never see Joel still. So we've seen this game referenced numerous times. We weren't given a date. We weren't given a time frame, nothing. Just this great trailer and gameplay footage, but still no Joel. So, Donnie, your first impressions on The Last of Us 2?
Well, it was kind of ruined because of Ubisoft stuff, because probably half of the unveiling I was trying to fix everything frantically before I was able to move us over to Mixer, get us up and running, and start paying more attention. Luckily, though, I was a good minute behind you guys, so I was able to see it. My immediate impression is the game looked a lot further along than I expected it to be. I mean, and maybe it's not. Maybe it's just a slice that they did, but they showed many different environments, lots of different enemy characters. Everything looked very detailed, very polished, lots of foliage, lots of detail. There was a lot here to see. It didn't look like a game in alpha, beta. It looked like something that was playable and something that was refined, something that's almost customer ready. But we didn't get a date, so that may be just me being too optimistic. But it looked like it's going to play like Last of Us. It looked like everything we could want the next-gen Last of Us to look like, and I was just enthralled. You guys know how much that game means to me, and I just can't wait to get it. And whenever it is, I'll be there.
Yeah, and Justin did call it out, and we'll get to your thoughts, Justin, next. That it's not just crouch and run. There's a prone pose now. Like, she's down crawling. She's, like, really low into the grass, so it's definitely different levels of stealth that's being added to this one too. So, Justin, your thoughts? You and I were pretty focused in while Donnie was panicking and figuring out what to do, and you looked to be pretty focused and zoned in on what was going on. What was going through your head?
Yeah, I was just looking for all those like little tiny bits of detail that they're, what are they adding to this game? Honestly, they could come out with all the same exact mechanics, and everyone would be happy with it if it was just a new story. But like, obviously, they're trying to add, it sounds dumb, but adding a prone is a kind of a big deal. It's a different movement. It's another level of stealth, which I'm as big of a fan as I am.
Yeah, I mean, it looked good. We're excited to see when we're getting it, when we're getting more. Kind of roll through it from there. Yeah, definitely still dark and gritty, which is great. It actually seems to be a little bit more gore, I think, than the previous one, which was pretty dark as it was, like with the guy getting gutted from being hung, and you saw the bodies in the trees. Like this, like I said, I think the humans are the bigger threat in this one versus the mutants or whatever they had gone on before. So, yeah, a little crazy. Exciting to see what happens there. But immediately after that, they moved on to, as I've now dubbed it, Ghosts of Swords and Bows. Because I don't know how to say Tsushima, I guess. Tsushima, whatever. I don't know. For me, this is not a... Yeah, okay. So next came Ghost of Tsushima, an open-world samurai game. Demo started with a guy playing like this bamboo flute thing, which went on for way too long because it wasn't that great. Donnie said, and I think he's pretty spot on here, the Witcher vibes were strong with this game. It was very Witcher-esque. There from look at
I think that was my first impression, at least. It was like I was looking at, they're walking around, it's wide open landscape, and then you go to hop on your horse and go down a God, I hate you, Donnie. He hops on the horse and goes down a path, and I was like, oh, this looks like Witcher. But then we get to combat, or what looks like it might be live combat. And it starts to look a little bit more Batman-esque, or what we've been calling Batman-esque combat for the last, 10 years. So, and that, threw me off a little bit. I was hoping it'd be more like Witcher with that more technical, sword fighting. But it looks like it's more of a, hack and slash with a, Batman style.
Yeah, I mean, the wind was a big effect. The sun, the lighting was there. Donnie was commenting on the grain numerous times as we were watching. We're watching the combat, and Donnie's focused on the
Best grain physics. Remember, I was behind you guys. You guys were watching the combat. I didn't get to see it. I was looking at the grain. The grain is a
you were talking about it for you were talking about the grain longer than the guy was playing the bamboo flute.
That's
that was
true.
A long time.
That's true.
And we're talking about wheats of grain, not like the grain, like not the noise of the image. Literally the wheat.
Yeah,
the wheat,
wheat.
like what the wheat and chaff is. That's what Donnie's all about.
I mean, as a golfer, right? I watch many Link golf courses, and I
Sure.
like this type of stuff. This is the stuff that like appeals to my eye. I completely sold on this game. I mean, I was always interested and was always going to get it. Like when this game was first unveiled and we had no idea what it was. What did I say? It's Sucker Punch. I'll buy it. Right?
Yeah, and that's the thing. It has the name behind it for sure, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not digging it as much as you were.
I am all in, man. I think it looks beautiful. This is a gorgeous game. I love the contrast with light. I love the contrast in colors. I love, as you mentioned, that you called it watercolory. I wouldn't go that far, but I understand what you're trying to say. I really like its design a lot. I was very infatuated with the way it popped on screen, and I definitely think it popped. Like this game has an art style that's stands out in today's gaming. Like this definitely has a unique flavor. And then the combat
Hold on. Dude, there's been like 5 samurai games shown.
That's
this
true.
year.
Yeah, but they don't look
nothing-
like this.
Yeah,
but they
they
don't
don't.
look like this, man. No, this game. What am I missing between you and me? What am I missing why are you looking at this game and going meh? And I'm looking at this game and I'm like, dude, this looks amazing. What's the difference?
You could have cut away and shown me the second half of the Neo trailer that we'll get to later on. I would have known the difference.
See, with the Neo and the other ones, I keep thinking of, it's just like everything's very like, I'm gonna say brown. I don't mean brown, but like
Racist.
gray, brown.
It's dark and
like,
gritty.
Yeah, it's like that dirt color. Whereas this one's all this flowing stuff, the white, the greens, the reds. It all plays into a beautiful like picture. I really digging the style. That aside, you know me. I like button masher. I like beat 'em up. That's good stuff. So I like that. That's cool. And then when he gets into the building and he starts grappling around, starts swinging around, I'm like, oh, I'm going to get some traversal. And then they had this show off, like this showdown, and then the ground lit on fire, and you saw the sparks going in the background. I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm in. I'm sold.
So once again, Donnie's entire commentary is on everything happening back versus what's actually going on in the game.
Well,
the ground's on fire. The leaves are
They're
blowing.
going to sword fight. We've sword fight in games for 30 years. What is there to say?
Right. So that's my thing is you're overly excited for something we don't even know really what it is yet. Like that, we don't know if that was actual gameplay. Justin made a lot of comments there too, where we thought it was, and all of a sudden it was clearly not gameplay. I don't know
what was animation versus what wasn't. We don't. That's true.
That whole 2D thing where it looked like a fighting game. Is that all like CGI? Like, is that a cutscene or is that actually?
Yeah, we don't know.
Does that happen?
But
we have no
you
idea.
never really know that with most trailers. So
that's fair. That's fair.
I really think this was like a slice of a game. Which this game should be very far along. I mean,
I don't know. They're commenting that it's an open world samurai game, and they didn't really show us anything of an open world whatsoever. Like that seems to be very. You're on one path from this wheat field into this temple, and then you're outside the temple, and that's where it ended. So I didn't get an open world thing. So it might have been very focused. To me, it reminded me more of if you go back to Uncharted 4. That trailer, or Uncharted 3, even that trailer they showed where they stopped and they had to redo it like halfway through. It seemed to be like it was very focused. We're going to go from point A to point B and show you, which doesn't give me an open world vibe. I think it's more like an open level, like in Uncharted, where like, okay, you kind of have some options, but essentially you're just going from here to here, and then you're going to go to the next location. But
yeah, it could be something like that. And I don't know, but it definitely looked like a slice to me, which I don't know. Second Son came out 4 years ago, near the launch of the PS4, and it's like they should be pretty close to finishing this game next year.
I would think so.
So like, I'm surprised not to see the the whole entire world or whatever. But I don't know. I would agree with Donnie though. The like art direction takes you a long ways, and they've definitely nailed the art direction of that game. It looks, as many samurai games as we're seeing this E3, they have the prettiest looking one.
I'll give that to them there. So after Ghost, we moved on to Control, which is something we hadn't heard anything about previously. And I will preface this with saying, yes, it is a multi-platform game. So they tried to make it kind of seem, they pulled like an Xbox, where it's like world exclusive. But yeah, it's coming to Xbox, it's coming to PC. Control is basically from the same folks behind Max Payne, Alan Wake, and Quantum Break. looked really trippy. As Donnie described it, as I don't need Doctor Strange the game, but Justin and I both were very. I was honed in on this one, and this one looked awesome. I was all for it. It seemed like you had like bullet time thing, like a la Max Payne. You can control in the environments, has a supernatural, superhuman aspect to it. I'm excited for it. Justin, your thoughts as you were watching that trailer?
Yeah, so like earlier write-ups sound like maybe they were pitching it actually as time travel-y, which I don't know. Everything about it, the visuals looked pretty good. I missed out on Quantum Break, so I didn't have a Xbox. I didn't play it on PC for some reason, but that game always looked cool to me. This looks like maybe a little bit more of a polished Quantum Break.
Yeah, totally.
So it sounds like I don't know, and there's another thing, we don't know if this is an exclusive or not. I don't think they confirmed that in any way.
No, it's definitely not. It's coming to Xbox. It's coming to Steam. It's definitely cross.
But it still looks great to me. I love weird stuff. So
nothing wrong with that. So Donnie, you want to clarify your stance on this a little bit more?
No, I'd like to take the pot shot away from Justin. I thought Quantum Break was pretty polished. I played the game. It wasn't an unpolished game. Look at that. He's just this is a better version of this other game.
I mean, it is an inferior Microsoft product. So.
Let's see. There we go. I am in the house of the XP, so I'll be kind. Quantum Break wasn't my favorite game, so immediately when you got that one right on as soon as we saw it, and that really kind of I was like, well, I'm interested. And then once it started doing all the Doctor Strange walls breaking, I was like, nope, not for me. So I won't even really be following that one. That will take somebody like you guys telling me, Donnie, you've got to play it. It'll be something like that before I tune back into it.
Yeah, that's fair. And all we got for Control was 2019, no quarter, no time frame, nothing there. So it's definitely early on. I'm sure we'll see more of it next E3 for sure. Next thing we had was another surprise that we watched like maybe 30 seconds of the trailer, and we were like, hey, I think I know what this is. And we're getting a Resident Evil 2 remaster, which is, for a lot of folks, the best Resident Evil game. And this looks to be built from the ground up. Total remaster. Hopefully it's in the same engine style that we saw in Resident Evil 7. I'd be all for that. Had a blast with that game there, too. Same thing. Was portrayed kind of like, hey, is this going to be just on Sony? No, it's on PlayStation, Xbox, PC as well. As Devin would like to say, hey, it's just not on Switch. So just keep that in mind. But it looked really, really cool. I'm excited. It's one of my favorite. Leon Kennedy's favorite Resident Evil character. So I'll be excited to play as him again in virtually anything that's not Resident Evil 6. Justin, your thoughts?
It looks amazing, and I'm like, I don't know, the visuals look crazy, and there's a lot of CG and everything. But like, I don't know, I'm not one of those guys that was a big Resident Evil fan when I was younger. So like, I played it when it first came out, but I was kind of a little bit of a baby, so it didn't really scare me a little bit too much. Looks like this game will scare me way more, so I may be in or may not be. We'll see.
Fair enough. I played this one on N64. That's where my exposure was to Resident Evil 2. So yeah,
wow.
And I have not played it since either. So this looks drastically different from when I played it there. But so Donnie, my brother in Resident Evil, you excited for this one?
Oh yeah. Often rumored. I can't wait for that that jump through the mirror scene again to relive all that over again. That's gonna be super fun. They've got to move that. They've got to move it, or so they got to tease it. They can't do the exact same. They got to move it around.
No,
a bit.
They got to change it. Absolutely.
And I did try the HD remasters that they released on PlayStation 4, and those are hard to go back to. Those control schemes. I remember I was like, how did I ever play? I tried playing Code Veronica, and I was like,
yeah,
how did I play this back then? Like it's tough. I couldn't even walk around a table correctly. I was bumping into stuff. So I'm very excited for the remake. It's been long rumored, often mentioned on podcast around, and now that it's finally coming, it's coming soon. Yep.
Yeah, this is January 25th, 2019. So just got to get through the holidays. This will be here just before we get that mad rush of February releases for some strange reason next year. So this will be a good icebreaker to come out of the holidays with for sure. But I'm excited for it. And was surprised to see it. I will say it was very shocking.
Yep.
Next thing we hear is this is a weird one too. We got a trailer for Kingdom Hearts 3. Now Xbox conference had a trailer for Kingdom Hearts 3, and Square Enix had the same exact trailer for Kingdom Hearts 3. Sony gets its own. And I don't know if that's because of the relationship they've had with Kingdom Hearts, that 1 and 2 was a Sony exclusive. I'm not sure what that was, but they showed Pirates of the Caribbean Worlds for the first time, and man, they looked good. Like graphically, it was nice to see the variation from what we've seen with Toy Story now to this one. We've seen Monsters Inc., we've seen Rapunzel, we've seen Frozen, we've seen all those so far this year. and this is the first time we saw a more realistic vibe here. I'm not going to go on and on about it. I know you guys aren't excited about it as I am. I'm a huge Kingdom Hearts fan. I've been waiting 11, 12 years for this game to come out, a real sequel to Kingdom Hearts. So I am all in. And that PS4 Pro, man, that looks gorgeous. It does. But I don't know if a Pro's in the review, but it looks amazing. So I'm excited for it. Do you guys have anything to say on Kingdom Hearts 3? It's fine if you don't. I just want to leave it open.
Nope.
Yeah, it looks like more Kingdom Hearts, which fans of Kingdom Hearts will like, and everyone else will be like, "What's going on right now? Where are these people?" But it looks great, and I don't know, Johnny Depp, whatever. I don't know, he looks like Johnny Depp, which is weird. So, okay, cool.
Yeah, it's a tough series if you're not into it to get, especially this far in. When you look at like, hey, 1 and 2 were released 12 years ago. Let's just go back and play those and catch up to it now. And Xbox has never had them. Xbox isn't even getting the remasters; they're just getting 3, which is really weird for anybody that's not a Sony fan. If they jump in at 3, you're gonna have no clue what's going on. Absolutely not.
I am dangerously close to getting both those games to try to get in because it does look so good.
Yeah.
But if I don't play those games, I'm not gonna play it. So.
Yeah, and they're not short games either, where you're just gonna like, hey, I'm gonna pop this in, knock it out, the way it operates. So from moments where the two of you guys were standing there scratching your head going, what the heck is going on here, to one where all 3 of us were, Death Stranding was next. We got another massive trailer, I guess, but it does appear to have some gameplay footage in there too. So we still don't know what's going on, other than it seems like Norman Reedus is some sort of delivery man, and he seems to be delivering things, whether it's the fetuses that we saw at the end of this trailer or what. But there's these spirit things that fly in the air that he can detect with his radar thing. And it just looks like he's going from point A to point A and point B, delivering something. He even confirmed that in the trailer, like, hey, the delivery, I'm almost there, but there's tons of these things. We did not see Mads Mikkelsen in this trailer at all.
Or Guillermo del Toro.
That's true. And so it seems to be a little bit different direction, because that last trailer we saw those guys with the huge armor and the guns, and it looked like it was going to be some sort of shooter game. And this one had no fighting whatsoever. It was just stealth and sneaking around. So we still, no surprise, don't have anything else to go off of. It visually looked stunning. I mean, it looked like you were watching Norman Reedus, even down just to his mannerisms and the way he moves. Like, clearly it's all motion capture, but you've got a lot of time and energy has been spent on capturing these people as legit actors being infused into a video game that's not using video. Like, they're actually making them into characters in the game. So looks stunning, but yeah, we have no idea what's going on. It's Kojima. What else can you say, Justin?
Yeah, no, I like Metal Gear Solid as like my favorite series of all time, even though I haven't played some of the games. But like, so I'm on board with whatever this game is going to be. The biggest thing I got out of this whole thing was at the very end when he does have that clicker thing that's going off. It looked like Metal Gear Solid sneaking around. It looked like very stealthy gameplay, which like, so that at the very least, that's the first time we've seen gameplay. It's the first time we know, like, okay, this is a stealth game, which Kojima is known for. So it's like that. To me, that's like the first confirmation that like, this is what this game is. It's gonna be a stealth game.
That's true.
And that means that combat's probably gonna be secondary to the stealth, which I'm fine with. That's kind of the way the Metal Gear games are meant to be played, is stealthily. So, I'm still on board. I'm getting a little bit sick of not knowing what the hell is going on, but it's cool. It's interesting. He's got the budget behind it. It looks good. Doesn't look as good as Ghost of Tsushima. I will side with Donnie on that.
Okay.
The art direction for Death Stranding is very drab, which I don't necessarily like that. So.
That's fair. I can dig that. Yeah, with what you're saying about the stealth and everything like that, you're right. It definitely seems like it's going to be a stealth game, which is fine as long as, and it does appear to be, that it's written into the narrative. There's a reason for having to be stealthy. It's not like, so Metal Gear, like, yes, you could focus on stealth, but you could also go in guns blazing and still accomplish. I'm not getting that vibe from this, at least not yet, from what we're seeing. That's going to be the same way. Like, if you're not quiet, I don't think you're going to be able to obtain your objective, if you will. So, Donnie, your thoughts as you were very confused throughout this?
I saw Norman Reedus walking simulator. Just him walking around a lot. And for as much rock climbing simulator mess as you give me on Uncharted, yeah, I expect you to be just as critical I mean, I'm sure. I mean, if the game's not out yet, so I'm sure they're building. But all I really saw was Norman Reedus walking around. Even in the scary part, all he did was walk around. I didn't really see him take any actions. He walked around. He carried stuff. So,
what remains of Norman Finch?
Yep,
Works. Yep.
Edith.
All right. No, Norman Finch.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, I got you. Okay. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, the weird stuff. You guys know, like that kind of weird stuff. Not really my thing. So I haven't been following this one, and I'm also not even a Metal Gear gearhead. I'm not a Metal Gear nut. I really like Metal Gear 1 and 2. But since 4, I have not paid attention, and so this is not doing much for me.
Fair enough. All right, so the next trailer we got was a little bit of a surprise, and it's quick because I think the last one was last year. I mean, I don't feel like the game's been out a long time, but the sequel to Neo is coming out. Neo 2 trailer, so we'll see another samurai type thing. They didn't really show much at all. Hey, here's like these character models, a little bit of movement. There wasn't any gameplay or anything like that. They didn't even give you a date. I don't believe. They just kind of said, "Hey, we're doing Neo 2." That's all you have to go on. So for me, it's a non-thing. I didn't play the first one. First one didn't even grab my attention. So I don't know about you, Justin, if you were into Neo at all.
No, I know it's a fan favorite. People have played it, but it's a Souls-like game, so I didn't really get into it. But it seems like that's what it was, and looks like it will be. Looks cool, but not my style game.
Fair enough. Donnie, your thoughts there?
I got nothing. Yeah, I mean, I saw Neo looked cool, but I honestly, I got to say, I immediately looked at it and I thought of I thought not as good as Ghost of Tsushima. So like that's the bar for any samurai fighting game that I'm even paying attention to, anything with ninjas and whatnot. So.
And that's super fair because, all right, so you had 2 samurai games in the same conference, which was only very slightly over an hour, which if they cut out the whole moving from the first location to the second one, this would have been like a 45-minute presentation.
Yeah, I'm saving my thoughts on the presentation to the end.
Yeah, we'll get to that at the end. But yeah, it just seemed like 2 samurai games. One that looked beautiful and you showed a lot of, and one you didn't show anything of. Sequel. Like, I don't know how you're supposed to generate any hype off that, but hey, I don't know. Very weird. All right, so last thing on the trailer, on the presentation there was Spider-Man. No surprises there. We have a release date for Spider-Man. It is coming. We know Insomniac looks to be doing a great job with this. This trailer focused on Spider-Man arriving at the Raft, which if you're familiar with at all, it's S.H.I.E.L.D.'s like Supermax prison. So all of Spider-Man's best villains are available there. So we do see Electro, we see Rhino, we see Scorpion, we see Mr. Negative. There's somebody else that I'm missing, and it's going to drive me nuts if I can't name it.
Was Vulture in there?
Yes, the Vulture. Thank you. That was the other one. Looks very hectic. Spider-Man moves great. The combat looks to be like Batman, which is fine. Just a faster, more agile Batman, which is great. And the web swinging looks incredible. I am just even more hyped for this game here. Donnie had some thoughts here. Had he not just gone through the Marvel stuff, he wouldn't have cared about this game at all.
That's true.
So your thoughts, though, what you saw out of Spider-Man tonight?
Looks good. You remember last year when they showed that rooftop scene and how he could like fly around outside and he was doing all this stuff, and Kyle was like, look at the combat and how like free free form it looks and all that. And I had mentioned the QTEs that we see like on the subway, and then you bring it into this scene where he's in a confined space, and this very much looked like Arkham, which we talked about on the live stream. It looked like Batman game. Now he looked like he had a little bit more a little more range, more movement. He was definitely faster. Like him being able to kick off of walls and jump over people and using explosion tactics with his webs definitely looked like that would make it better. But I'm interested in seeing what that does. I'm gonna get this game anyway because, like I said, had I not done Devin's MCU challenge, I would have never gotten it. Now I want to get it, but I'm interested to see if it gets repetitive. That's kind of where I'm looking at now. Not in the repetitive that I don't want to play it because it looks super fun. I like button masher beat 'em up. So I'm just saying, like, that's one thing that I think we could hear from it, because at least in that confined space, it looked like you could be seeing a lot of the same animations over and over, which is, hey, Ghost of Tsushima might be the same way. So
yeah, it's kind of, with the game that's going to be heavy on, kind of hard to keep it fresh.
Sure.
2, 3, 4, 5 hours into it, it's like, well, you're going to be doing the same thing, especially when you're fighting off hordes of enemies. You're going to see that a lot. I think the only time they are really able to flex their muscles as far as the animations there is when you have like a boss fight.
But the game looks great, and if the web slinging outside, like if you can actually go move around the city and not just like in confined places in the game, but like free roam, nobody will care. Like that's all everybody really wants to do anyway. So good stuff.
Yeah, I think the web slinging has to be good in like in an open world setting, and then throw in a bunch of useless side quests where you get to just beat them up. As long as the swinging from side quest to side quest is good, people are gonna love it. So,
Oh yeah, that's true.
yeah, I definitely did see a lot of like weird, unique animations in there that like, what if those are all there are? And then it's like, yeah, it's gonna be repetitive or whatever. But what game doesn't get repetitive at some point? It looks great. It looks like it'll be fun.
Yeah.
This is one of the, like, there's games like The Last of Us that I play to get a good story and like really, really love. And there's games that I play just to have fun, and that's what Spider-Man looks like. So
For sure. So and then that's kind of it. Like it kind of ended on the Spider-Man trailer, which is fine. I mean, we got to remember, Twitter is exploding a little bit on Sony saying, it was a terrible show and this and that, blah, blah. And I think other than the whole odd location change, it wasn't bad. And we have to remember, they told us up front, hey, and I mean, they did that. They sprinkled in a few smaller announcements in between and gave you like a short trailer. And that was it. So you can't really complain when they literally told you, hey, this is what we're doing. And they delivered on that. So overall, I mean, we know Sony is known, not going to fanboy here, but they're known for having these great, fantastic first-party titles. Big headlining games. You have your Uncharted, you have your games like that. Now this time it's The Last of Us. Kojima, whether you like the games or not, he attracts major attention, so you have to acknowledge Death Stranding. Sucker Punch has always done good, even though I'm not excited about it. Doesn't mean it's not going to be a good game. Doesn't mean I'm not going to eat crow and play it later. They're known for great things, and I mean, Spider-Man is gaining a lot of attention right now, and all eyes are on Marvel with pretty much anything they do right now. So it's a great lineup they showed us. So yeah, they didn't give us a whole lot else, but they delivered on what they said. So it seems
they
a
didn't
little
give us
short,
dates though. That
exactly.
That's what was missing from that presentation. If they would have given even years, I mean, they didn't even give a year for Death Stranding or Ghost. It's like, well, how long do we have to wait? That's great that The Last of Us Part 2 is coming out, but when is it coming out?
Well, keep in mind they still have PSX.
That's their show now.
That's their show. And every E3, what's the top complaint people have for Sony? You're showing games and they tell us it's coming in 3 or 4 years. Maybe they're stopped doing that because they're like, well, people complain about it, so we're just not going to give you anything. And too bad. But I get your point. I was expecting to know more dates, and we kind of said this at the end of our stream here. We didn't really get dates on anything. Like Spider-Man already had one. We got one for Resident Evil that we didn't even know existed. And other than that, it was just a year with Control, which is not Sony's games. Anything Sony related, we have no year, no date, no nothing except for Spider-Man.
Also remember, with Uncharted 4 and The Last of Us, they were coming off of high-profile delays, and that kind of hit them. So, like, maybe they're just a little gun-shy to let anybody know until it's ready. Like, ready.
Yeah.
I guess if the alternative is getting a date or even a year and they miss it, then I guess I don't want to see that date. So, yeah, I'm completely fine with missing that. But, I mean, the other part of it is PlayStation just had to go this route of announcing 5 games for the previous 5 days. Yes. I feel like those should have been held off. I feel like they should have just not done that and put them all in this press conference to make it feel like a really awesome press conference.
Yeah, it definitely could have used some padding. The other thing we will note is it showed a lot of creations of little music vignettes, if you will, created in Dreams, but didn't acknowledge Dreams whatsoever, which was really freaking weird to see. Like, hey, we're going to keep mentioning this, but if you weren't a PlayStation fan, let's say last year, like if you're a new PlayStation owner in the last year, you probably don't know what Dreams is. And they kept referencing this thing with no context at all, which is really, really odd. I'm glad that they're not letting Dreams die away. But it was very weird. We didn't see that. We didn't see Concrete Genie either. Remember that? Like, that garnered a lot of attention last E3. And that, to me, didn't look like the kind of game that would be in a development cycle for, 3-4 years. Like, it's not a Naughty Dog type game. Yet, once again, no mention of that whatsoever. So, a little odd.
Yeah. It does make me look at it, and it's like maybe they really are. Their major plan is E3, we focus on our AAA huge games. Show everyone what's coming down the pipeline for next year. And then maybe, PSX, they're like, hey, here's the dates. Here's all the small indie games. Here's Concrete Genie. Here, Dreams is only for PlayStation, like big PlayStation users.
Exactly. Yep.
You know, they don't care if the mainstream, because E3 gets picked up by all these mainstream publications and stuff. They don't want Dreams to be in one of those mainstream publications,
Right?
Because no one's gonna understand what it is. Maybe Dreams is gonna be a huge thing at PSX. You know, probably announce an actual release date or beta date, whatever. You know, it does seem like they were very serious about these are the 4 games we have for E3.
Yeah, they definitely were, and it is worth noting too. Just like Xbox is continuing to do content over the next couple of days, Sony has a bunch of stuff going on PlayStation Live all day tomorrow. You can view all the stuff on the website. I'll kind of go through some things here. They are going to have a Last of Us 2 panel. They're doing a gameplay rewind of Ghost of Tsushima. Dreams is being live gameplay demo at 12:15, so it's going to be completely buried by the. Oh wait, no, that's Pacific time, so it won't be buried by the Nintendo conference. So there will be some Dreams live gameplay demo. Spyro Reignited Trilogy will be on there. Days Gone will be shown live gameplay demo. Concrete Genie is there live gameplay demo at 2 p.m. Let's see what else they're doing that's interest here. They will show some gameplay demo of Resident Evil 2, a panel on Death Stranding, so maybe we'll get a couple more answers there. And then just your normal stuff, Just Cause 4, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Black Ops. They will be doing a Scuf Vantage controller unboxing. We've seen that great-looking controller coming out from Scuf. They'll be doing an unboxing of that on their channel as well. So some of these games are still here. Dream not completely buried. They will be discussing it, I guess, on their channel as well as Concrete Genie. So they're still out there. It's just kind of odd they didn't have it available in the presentation in any way, shape, or form. So
I love that they're doing Ghost and The Last of Us right when Nintendo goes to do their show.
Well, no, because those are Pacific times.
Oh, never mind. I was
That's
like,
what I said.
that's
They
great little, competition. I think that's cool, but never mind.
No, they're staying far away from it. It looks like it. They're not even getting their stuff until Nintendo conferences.
Gotcha.
Nintendo's conference could be 2 hours. Sony there, so I thought the same thing at first. I was like, well, this is kind of weird. You're going to go toe to toe with that. Nobody's watching that over like a Smash or million.
I think a lot of people would tune into Last of Us over Nintendo if they're a PlayStation fan, but yeah.
But a panel, not gameplay, not showing it's
so okay. I didn't see that. Gotcha.
Yeah, so if
bad.
you're a big diehard Sony fan, there is more day tomorrow on the live.playstation.com. Though I'm sure they'll do their quests and do more giveaways and stuff. There's a theme available right now if you watch 5 trailers. I did that in between time, between the end of that conference and us recording now. So stay tuned. There might be some more cool stuff there. So overall, your thoughts, Donnie, on the conference as a whole?
I thought it was okay. I know people are going. I think people are going hard at the coals right now on the feedback and Twitter because PlayStation has set a higher standard for E3 in years past, and I think what we're seeing right now is the transition to PSX, and this is kind of like the hard swerve. So I think a lot of people are coming down off of that. The show was fine because quality is worth more than quantity,
Yes.
and The Last of Us and Ghosts are quality. And if you're into whatever Death Stranding is going to be, and it looked like a good quality product video game as much as you could tell. So, the Last of Us fan of me can't really throw too many bones at them. They also had Call of Duty. I think that's always a big thing to point out. Whoever gets Call of Duty on the stage every year, it seems to be a good barometer of success. And PSX is where they do their indie relationships. It's where they do all their B tier stuff. It's where they unveil new things. It's where they date things. We've gotten used to this. So I can't say that I'm surprised. I do think the presentation was bad though. Yeah. So while the content was good, the presentation was weird. The point where we flipped from The Last of Us through the different place outside, and then they tried to have a conversation while other people were talking in the background.
Yeah.
But also why even pan outside? Why even go to a conversation? All of that was a bad idea in my opinion.
Yeah, sure.
Just get to the next game. Get past all that. And there was a lot of that. There was at that point where it felt like they were, and it may have been because, Wario64 tweeted that their Twitch stream had failed. It felt like they were killing time for a moment. They were delaying, to get to the, they're pause for a moment. Maybe they were, maybe they weren't. But it definitely felt like for a period of time they were just trying to fill some dead time and before they really kickstarted it again. So it was just kind of a mess. And then we were also having a mess. So my opinion, probably not even a valid because I was kind of in and out. Once we got to the Ghost trailer, we were pretty much good to go. But the first start of this thing was, man, it was weird.
It was. Justin, so your thoughts overall on the presentation tonight?
Yeah, overall presentation was, meh. I don't think there's any better way to explain it than that. I do think that it was a huge misstep on their part to do the in between stuff with what looked like an ESPN, sports, talk show basically. So that seemed really off to me. They could have filled those gaps with some sort of trailer. It would, even if it was for stuff that we already knew about or whatever. They could have filled it in. But it all comes down to no one else has a Naughty Dog level of game. No one. That is true. That is PlayStation's that is their thing. That's
their ace in the hole.
Exactly. I mean, nothing competes to that. The level of detail and I want to watch that trailer a few more times.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of animation and detail and stuff that we aren't really capturing all of it when we first watch it, while we're live streaming. So I can't wait to watch that again and see all that little detail, and no one can beat them at their game. And that game is not that far off. I wish they would have given a date, but it's not that far off.
If I could speculate a little bit, I think it's next year for sure. I think it's probably before the fall. They launched Uncharted in May, right? Right before E3, and I think The Last of Us is probably slated into that, and they're probably not going to announce it until they know that it can hit that window. But I would not be shocked if at PSX they said, Last of Us 2, May 28th or whatever, and
they'll have a better idea by then.
Yeah.
We'll, and I mean, you got to remember, yes, they didn't focus it on this conference. Days Gone comes out in February. So you don't necessarily want these big first-party exclusives to be too close to each other if you don't have the deck stacked for the rest of the year. So we got Spider-Man in September, so a couple months from now. Yeah. Then a couple months after that, you got Days Gone. You give it a couple months after that, you throw in some The Last of Us 2. You have a great lineup that gives you more time to get Ghost done and get Death Stranding done if that's the case, or Final Fantasy.
Throw in your indies. Yep.
And another thing, as far as the presentation goes, they gave gameplay on those 4 games that they said they were going to talk about.
That's true. They did.
So, and that, what's the one thing everyone complains about? They don't want a CG trailer. They want, and that was something that was wrong with Microsoft's conference, in my opinion, was every single game had to be prefaced with, what is it? Is it exclusive? Is it world premiere or whatever? Is it in-game footage or is it CG? We didn't have that problem with any of these 4 games. It's this was all in-game footage. Obviously, it was gameplay. Whether it was a slice or not, we don't know, but it was gameplay. So that's. I'm glad they didn't just do a CG trailer for any of the games.
No, makes sense. All right, I don't have anything else to say on the matter here. Do you guys? We're good.
Nope.
All right, so you heard our thoughts here, so make sure you keep staying tuned to that podcast feed for all the rest of the content we'll have coming out for the rest of the days. We still have Nintendo ahead of us. We still got to record reactions for Bethesda, Square Enix, Ubisoft. It's all coming through, so just stay on board and we'll roll with it. But more importantly, everybody, stay tuned in, stay listening. Try and keep track of the Twitter account at PSVG because we've had to shift things here. As you know, tonight we're on Twitch versus on normal YouTube while we figure things out there. But more importantly, everybody, we ask all throughout E3 that you never stop gaming.